All right, everybody, this is Brad from Bradget Designs. Just wanted to make a video to go over the BlackPak divider system, some of the components, and some of the things to watch out for as you're ordering. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out, but hopefully this will help answer some questions and make sense to everyone. Starting off with, we've got a 13 by 16 short stack here, 13 inches on this side, 16 on this side. Easier to do a demonstration with this than the full BlackPak, so this will be the substitute for a BlackPak as well, but the same basic principles apply to both. We have two different heights of dividers that will be offered. We've got the short stack, which is roughly 3.5 inches, and then the BlackPak divider, which is just under 6 inches. So keep that in mind as you're ordering. These are also labeled. They will be labeled as a 13-inch divider, which means it goes across a 13-inch side. And then we have a 16-inch divider, which will go along a 16-inch side. So those that have a 13 by 16, you'll need to order two different sizes potentially. If you have a 13 by 13, pretty easy. Same thing with 16 by 16. As far as what we're calling the slots go, there's 4 basic pieces. We've got the 5 slot, which is a standard, lines up with the holes that are in the BlackPak already. We've got a single that lines up with the holes as well. We've also got a single offset, which is designed to go halfway between these holes. And we've also got a 4 slot offset, which again is designed to line up between the holes. One thing to keep in mind with the offsets, and I'll go over it here in a little bit, is they won't work by default with the dividers. We do have the ability to make adjustments to the dividers if you really want the offsets. Where the offsets are really going to be nice is, let's say you've got a single standard and then the offset. The measurement between each of the holes in the BlackPak is 1.5 inches. So what this actually does is this will set this slot to this slot as 1.5 inches plus 3/4 of an inch, which means you've got 2.25 inches. Most standard tackle boxes are usually a little over 2 inches. So if you can see right there, let me throw in a couple quick dividers just to kind of show you how this sets up. This is a nice way if you want to individually divide each tackle box. To me, I don't know that that's absolutely necessary, but everybody has a different way they want to do things. Now, with that said, what I suggest when you're looking at trying to figure out what you might need or what you might want is lay out your gear you have now. Maybe you've got some sort of soft plastics or other sort of container. Again, I'm using 3600s here, and I'll show you a 3700. Let's say I carry, 4 tackle boxes. Because I'm sure what's frustrated a lot of people and frustrated me, a lot of times you reach in to your BlackPak, you go to grab one, and these all fall over, and then you're trying to fumble getting them all back up. So what I suggest is lay out kind of what you have and then determine where you want the dividers to be. So now as you can see I've got 4 in here, that they all line up pretty much on this set of holes here. Now I've got a lot of these. If you're changing your gear if you're changing your gear a lot, you may want to have the ability to quickly change. Otherwise, the single slot may be perfectly fine for you. So now what I can do is just go ahead and put this in here. The other thing you can do is then also consider subdividing, but again, you'll have to make sure, not subdividing, but putting in another divider. Still when you pick this up, it's going to be a little tight. These things tend to fall over. It's just finding what works for you. Or if you want a little more space, you could divide it up like this. Now you're not fighting the space as much. You've got room for different width tackle boxes. Sometimes they're all a different size on some level. But now it's really easy for you to reach in. Something falls over, but it's not the whole thing. Again, maybe this one falls over. Easy enough to put back. So that's kind of the basic principle. I don't anticipate a lot of people needing to subdivide their BlackPak, but if you want to, you can. Again, you'll just need to take into account the different sizes you have, but you can easily set this up to subdivide on some level. You know, maybe you don't have tackle boxes, but you have other gear you want. Again, it's up to you, whatever works. Reach out with any questions, but hopefully this kind of lays out what we're looking at. Now for the short stack, and I believe I mentioned it, but the BlackPak dividers are roughly just under 6 inches. And then we've got for the short stack itself, these dividers, which are 3.5 inches tall. You know, plenty to divide, but still have clearance for the lid. Now I had mentioned earlier why the offsets can be an issue. Since the offsets go straight down the middle, all of these dividers are actually set up to divide on the holes, just like the lines that are here. So as you can see, if we try to divide on that offset, these lines don't line up. That's the issue. Now again, reach out if you really want something straight down the middle. Maybe it works for you. You know, again, I know a lot of people are wanting to put, you know, say soft plastics. You know, they kind of fit like that. Honestly, if it were me, I would kind of run something like this, where you've got plenty of room here for different things. And again, you can divide this up as many times as you want, figure out what works for you. You know, maybe you run, I don't have another one handy, but you know, you have some different plastics here. You can have, you know, another divider here for some other small gear. You know, again, the singles, if you have a system that's set up and you don't move it around a lot, the single dividers are going to be great. If you want flexibility and you want the ability to constantly come in and change things, you know, maybe you fish differently every weekend, every time you get out. Maybe you carry different gear. This is where having the multiple slot dividers will allow you to quickly change without taking out screws and putting them back in. You know, not the biggest challenge in the world to remove a couple screws here and there, but it is nice to have the flexibility. You know, if you're constantly changing how you want to haul your stuff out. Again, hopefully this answers some questions. I'm sure I'm missing some things. One thing I will note at this time, we only have orange and black dividers. Part of that is because of the limitations in getting these cut. We're also experiencing a bit of an issue, especially with the orange, of them off-gassing after we're cutting them. So we're working on remedying that, but I will apologize in advance if you order any of these. They will have a little bit of odor to them. What I suggest is just setting them outside, get them some sunlight, and that off-gassing will go away after a while. But we have experienced that with some of these, that they do produce a good bit of odor for a while. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Hopefully this helps to answer some questions. And I appreciate it as always. Thank you.